5:30, so we will call the meeting to order.
Brandon, or get it done.
Mr. Callahan, would you verify we have a quorum present?
Yes, we did.
Very good. Thank you. Back properly, lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, the agenda which is before you was sent out to you in advance late last week. We would accept a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion, a second, Mr. Callahan. Any discussion? All those in favor, I'm going to ask that you raise your hand so Carly can see on video who's voting.
I had some problems reading lips last time.
So all those in favor,
So,
Want to do signs?
any opposed?
clean son.
All right, we have an agenda, thank you. Same for the minutes, which were sent out to you last week as well. Entertain a motion to adopt the minutes from the May 19th meeting.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second for Mr. Callahan. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. All right, new business. Downtown light and other pertinent topics was coming from Brandon, I believe, but he is not
Yeah,
here.
so we might want to move that to the end.
Okay.
He'll be here.
Off.
He's just in a meeting in his office.
Okay.
But he is coming.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, we can circle back up to that.
Okay, so moving on to item number 2, Main Street. So as you all know, Carly and I had a meeting last Monday. Welcome, Jack. I know Ryan is on his way as well. He's running a little bit late, so.
Party.
We sent out a recap of that meeting to you for your review. And item number 2 is Main Street USA. There's a need for us to talk about and schedule potentially a couple different things related to that. First and foremost, as part of the Main Street requisites, I guess you could say, we have a meeting on November 18th scheduled already at 5:30 at Chattahoochee Tech. This is a vision meeting that is run by the Main Street organization. So they take us through a process. I believe part of that is to get us a mission statement, revise the things we already have in place, potentially bylaws, et cetera, et cetera.
Wait, what date did you just set out?
November 18th.
Okay, no. We're different meeting. Sorry, I was taking notes. The November 18th is when the business owners are in there. That's like our meeting with the public. The Main Street wants to come August 20th and 21st.
Ah, okay.
Sorry.
Then our notes are incorrect on that. I apologize.
What's August dates?
So they do it weird. They do 2 days. Like that's how they offer it. It's an afternoon on the first day and a morning on the second day. So it's 2 half days.
Right.
And they want August 20th and August 21st, if that works for us. That is their preference.
What days are those?
I believe it's a Wednesday and a Thursday.
I'll take him just a second.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday, Thursday.
August.
20th, afternoon of the 20th and morning of the 21st.
Yes, Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay, so sorry, I had that date wrong.
If those dates work for everybody, I can confirm. She just asked if we could do the week of the 18th. So the 20th and 21st.
Yeah. I can't be here until 21st.
Okay. So ain't gonna either.
I'll wait. I forgot about that.
Okay.
Perfect. God bless you.
I mean, that's just what they asked me to do was that week. So that wasn't a me thing. So I mean, I can kind of go back to them with dates that we can. I don't know.
I'm not paying this to him. Better. Whatever. That's too loud. I'll be. Been talking about all life.
There you go.
I'll be.
Okay. So if that works for everybody, I can call them and confirm that and see if that works for everybody, because that's the date she gave me.
That's also a chat tech.
If that works, I'll reserve chat tech for that, yes.
So,
We've reserved chat tech for September and November right now, but not for July and August yet, because we need to decide on
Which I'll get to that, yes.
that. Yeah, Eric will get to that.
I had it backwards. I was just talking about this before the meeting, and I had it right, and then I.
You did have it
went
right.
back- Yeah, I went back to the old thing. So 20th and 21st, okay, so for the vision meeting for Main Street USA. So the question I have for the board is this. Do we want to use that meeting as our sole planning and vision meeting? Or would you rather have a meeting prior to that where we meet as a group with the purpose of coming up with maybe some fundamentals that we can take into that Main Street meeting?
That's what I would prefer.
I don't know about the fundamentals taken into that meeting, but I think we ought to separate our planning meeting or organizational meeting, whatever you want to call it, from the Main Street. I think we ought to dedicate that time to Main Street.
Okay.
I agree with what you said, because if you recall, that 20th to 21st, they pretty much go through that process. If we're going to do something, we need to do it prior to that, because those 2 days will be them talking. You won't be talking much about what we were to do.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to need to go in knowing what we want, because they're going to be helping us set up and create our mission statement and stuff. So we need to go in kind of with a plan, not going in needing to be
Exactly.
stuff. I think y'all are right.
So, we want to do that.
So that was my next, I'm proposing we do that on Wednesday, July 16th. At whatever, that could be a morning, 10 a.m. to 2 o'clock, 10 to 2. So that's
16th, or this to it, 6 o'clock, I guess. Well, okay. 16th, July.
20th to 21st is a half to.
And that's
Yeah, they're after.
yes.
Starts at noon and ends on.
Yeah, I have it's something like noon to 4 and then like 8 to 12 or something, like that. It's really at half and half. I think she's coming from Texas.
If it is,
I think. I talked to like 3 people in one day and they're all in a different state. I don't know where she's coming. But she's not here. I know that. It's not local.
July 16th, you said 10 to like 2-ish. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's okay. If that were to y'all.
And that's going to be where?
We can get chat tech for that.
We can do it here.
Or, we can do it here.
We can
We'll all
do it
fit.
Let's do it.
If that's just us, we can all fit in here. I can reserve this room.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'll-
10 to 2, is that?
so is that
Are you
just,
okay with that?
is that just calling up? This is more.
Yeah, it's literally just.
Carly?
It will have to post it because y'all will be in the same room, but it will just be me and y'all. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be the full board, so we will have to post it, but it'll just be me and you guys.
Midwest up.
No Main Street people, no outside.
And looks at it.
July the 16th.
You got road shipping moved.
That actually.
What time?
I think it's okay.
Okay. So tentatively for now, then just confirm that works.
That's right. July 10th is why I spoke up walks out.
That gives us the ability to meet and handle any potential follow-up things that need to happen before that meeting on the 21st. That gives us, a month roughly
Yeah.
before the meeting on the 20th and 21st. So that'll be good. Okay, very good. Okay, now back to November 18 for the proper meeting.
But the Main Street required vision.
Yes. This is, one of the big things with Main Street is bringing in community input, right? And so we have looked at November 18th at 5:30 at Chat Tech to invite the community to come be a part of that vision plan, get their feedback for that.
Now, is that just city or is that?
That is people in our CBD.
CBD.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it is not city limits. It is just the Main Street boundary, so it's CBD only.
All right, so we're going to officially send them a letter.
I'm going to take a hard copy by every single one of them with my card and Parrish's card attached to it and like a handout with the information and hard copy. I have most of their emails. Emails are difficult like this. Kim gave me a list of what we think is the emails I'm going to need.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through all those and send those out. But then I'm also going to hand deliver a hard copy with my contact information and pictures.
Until you get else away, you know, and it's,
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, you know all the people. There's still people out in there.
what I was saying, if you get some kind
Thank you. Yeah, so I will be doing that.
So with that, we thought it might be a good idea prior to that November 18th meeting to have a separate meeting, again, with the business community, same CBD people, or, you know, whoever can make it, to basically allow us to explain what the Main Street program is to them. We can also advertise the November 18th meeting so that we get a little better participation. We are also going to ask the chamber to announce it at the November 11th chamber breakfast and try to get it a little more publicized so that we get a better turnout. But I think, I don't know that we want the 18th of November meeting to be, this is what Main Street is, where everybody's just learning about, like, why am I even here? So I thought it might be a good idea that we do something in advance, and we looked at September 16th at 5:30 to accomplish that. That's not, I mean, that was just a random date we picked.
of things to it. And what time do you say?
5:30, again, to allow business owners the ability to be there. And that's what would be a check time as well.
Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Adjourn.
Hey, Roger. You got to tell me what I'd like to.
Yeah, don't worry.
All about the entrance ramp.
So thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't really get, you don't think it'd be hard to get business owners together for 2 meetings like that?
Potentially.
It might be,
I just don't know what the difference would be if meetings.
okay, so the difference is that eviction meeting that's happening in November is a requirement from Main Street that you have to have annually. But since we're new to Main Street and a lot of people don't even know that we're doing that or why I exist here, instead of taking up time on the November 18th when we're fulfilling our requirement by having that meeting where we're supposed to be getting their input, teaching them, if we're the first one to teach them, we don't have to do that in the second one. So that gives us time to actually do the same thing.
Okay.
It's kind of the thought process there. And if we're hoping it's more productive that way.
So are these, the forum from these meetings, are they public hearings, public meetings, closed meetings?
So, that, at the second meeting, at the November 18th meeting, you will all need to be there. So yes, we would have to advertise that as a public meeting. It's already open to the public anyway, but there'd be a forum technically, so that would be advertised. Now, the first one, if you all don't want to come, that is fine with me. Just Pam and Parrish. That way we don't want to. Or if you all want to come, fine, we'll do the same thing. But that's better to be.
So you're missing the, and I'll explain it, but you're missing the point of my question, because if we are focusing on a certain group of individuals as that you're responsible to as the Main Street program, there are going to be people that are excluded from our attentions, and they're not really going to understand that. They're going to want to, if we have and I'm fine with any of them, if we're going to have a public hearing or town hall, whatever you want to call it, people who are not really directly even involved may want to come in. So we just have to be ahead of that. We're telling judges.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they're welcome, of course, to attend because with you all present, we have to allow anyone to attend. But they won't, if they're not in CBD, they won't necessarily get input, if that makes sense. Which can be something we try to mitigate beforehand or figure out.
So the question for somebody might be if we're having a meeting of all of us as a Main Street program, obviously you've got a quorum with DDA members, but the difference between that Main Street and DDA, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I think yes. I think right now because we're not accredited, I can understand. We haven't received accreditation yet.
Okay.
It would be as a DDA.
Okay.
Yes, from my understanding, because Kim and Brandon and I talked about this last week, so they are aware of it. And so I believe it would be as DDA, because until we get officially do the accreditation process, we can't use their logo, so therefore I don't think we should call it a Main Street board yet.
Okay.
So it would be a DDA board.
Okay.
That's how you would show up.
As we get closer, we can have more conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So question, is that we're gonna be training those 2 half days?
The 2 half days, yes.
But we're gonna have public there also?
No, separate meetings.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I know that's difficult. The dates, there's a lot of dates.
Because technically they could come, but
Yeah, technically they could, because you're all gonna be there. But no, that's not,
Okay.
yeah.
2 separate meetings. So I think you make a good point, Sadi. I think that, that the September 16th meeting proposed could be, with another agenda item there could be to explain to the people that are there the CBD and what it is and define it and explain that this Main Street program is intended to serve the needs of those businesses.
That's a good idea.
That might be a good clarifying point. Might help us with attendance at the next meeting. I don't know how many people,
right.
but at least we can say we opened it up and we want the feedback. That's important to the process. So
So
Go ahead, Jack.
what I was going to say was Main Street, that's what we have to do though. We have to communicate to them. That's what we'll start setting them maybe every month. And so that's one of those we have to do. So yeah.
Yeah, there are especially once we achieve accreditation. Even until we get there, there's some stuff. But really, once we get the accreditation, yeah, there are mandatory, like monthly, quarterly, annual, the stuff that we will have to be doing like this. Since this is be the first one they've ever seen, we figured it would eat up less time because Elizabeth in our last meeting explained how a vision meeting, that's the annual vision requirement meeting, is supposed to work. And since no one really knows what it is yet, we figured it would, instead of eating up time of the one that's supposed to have a function, would be better to have one to teach them so it doesn't eat up the time of the one to actually that's supposed to be serving tokens.
And relying on Elizabeth, her experience
Yes.
with all these questions in our transformation right now, because we have a lot of input coming in from people that really aren't even directly involved, which we want people to give input. I mean, that's what we want.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not just here, but in the city too. We want input.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Elizabeth, I have my next meeting with Elizabeth on Friday, this Friday.
Awesome.
Because we have a monthly meeting. And she explained to me in our last meeting kind of how these meetings are going to work. And I'll explain that more to you all, like, as we go. But the main thing is that everyone in attendance is supposed to have equal opportunity to speak. The number one thing to avoid is basically like grandstanding, or one person pulling attention to the entire meeting. That is like the biggest thing. This will be equal opportunity for everyone that ends up
We've never
caught that.
no.
I'm sure that's never ever happened in the history of Jasper. Sure, guys.
So will Elizabeth be at the meeting?
No, she will be coming to do her site visit soon, and we're going to set that up Friday. Parrish is going to come with me. I don't know who else is coming. Whoever's welcome to come. Like, I still don't know a friend that's coming or anything, but Parrish and I are going to meet her. I think she's bringing people with her.
This is this Friday?
I have a meeting with her this Friday to set up a date for that, yes, because we never did that. So she's going to come to town and
Okay.
do a site visit. So when I get a date, I'll let you know.
I'll remember what that is.
Yeah.
I'm real good friends.
Oh, you like her? I met her actually, but at a training I went to in May. I recognized her kind of, and then halfway through the day, she was like, "Do I know you?" Because we'd only met on that Zoom call we were on. So I was like, "I guess I looked me." So I've met her now, so that's at least good. But yeah, she said she's gonna bring us up a date curriculum down. So because the site visit wasn't ever done, but figured out. So we're gonna do that as soon as possible. I'm going to Canton tomorrow. This is off topic. I'm going to Canton tomorrow to meet with Belinda. That just reminded me of that.
Awesome.
And I'm going to Livonia the second week of July to meet with their person. But yeah, I don't know if they're out in July, but I'm going to stay in. Yeah, I met Laura Beth from Monroe at the training. I met Elizabeth after. Yeah, that's the thing we're supposed to be doing also. So I got 3 days.
Just the future you.
Who?
Yeah.
Laura Beth. Okay, yeah, I like her a lot.
They should be doing it all the time.
Yeah, she sent me the forms we're going to start using probably for our volunteer work.
Can we get back on agenda?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. All good stuff. So we're good with September 16th then, the concept of that. Yeah, personally, I would like to have business owners from all over the place come to that. I mean, I think it doesn't hurt us explaining to anybody in the community at large that what Main Street is and what we're trying to do there. The more people hear that, the better, I think. So,
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to be exclusive to anything I like to do, either here or in the city.
I understand.
But there are going to be times where it'd be more productive if we could focus on the people that we're here to focus on, and also that they can focus on the people that the 100%.
100%. I do think that would be an opportunity for us to explain that too,
Yeah.
so that they don't think they're being excluded, down the road. But
Then there'll be challenges just associated, of course, that fact that we already experienced.
all right, very good. Thank you for your input, and so we'll get those all scheduled. Next item on Main Street is we need to form our 4 Main Street America committees that consist of promotions, economic development, design, and organization. Are those 4 committees? In the recap that was sent to you, we sort of just said, what if, promotions, Marty, Pam, and potentially the additional board member that may be added to the board that we're waiting for the city to decide on. For economic development, it would be Parrish, Sonny, and Marty. For design, Pam, Parrish, and Brian. And organization, Jack, Parrish, and Brian. Anybody have strong feelings about any of that, or want to serve on another committee that
Would you go over those again, please, Barry?
yeah. So for promotions, Marty and Pam, and since we have a vacant seat on the board right now, we were thinking that maybe if that gets filled, that might be a good opportunity for them to get involved there without overwhelming them. Economic development would be Parrish, Sonny, and Marty. Design, Pam, Parrish, and Brian. And organization, Jack, Parrish, and Brian's. Just kind of open it up for your thoughts.
You're on all 4.
Yeah. No, I would not be on promotions.
Okay.
I think we won't know until we actually get into it to know that, you know what I mean? So I'm fine with whatever for right now. I may have different thoughts about something that like.
So
This committee that will last through the Main Street. Yeah, the Main,
Conversations.
oh, that's one of it's just Main Street.
Organization.
And that's that's Jack. Let's go start. Does it start? Is that from their verification? Or is it annual and it's
until we get our accreditation.
voting? That thing kind of I don't. Is it? And with somebody's like, so you're, I mean,
Yeah, in each of those things, there's boxes that we have to check, right? And so that it'd be that committee's responsibility to make sure those boxes are checked and then bring that to the general board side. We have reporting going on along the way, probably more informally.
Oh, yeah.
So design is Parrish, Pam, and Brian.
It's yes.
It's the same concept as the council committee.
does it overlap to what the DDA does? There's a two-week as a voting.
It's kind of confusing, like y'all being both. So, yeah.
I mean, it would make sense. You would have another committee, like
I'm fine with mine.
we would have probably a group of promotions for a different.
No, you only have one set of committees. Don't worry. We're not going to try to toss it on that.
I was thinking we're going to have one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's.
Does that all sound?
Don't you create subcommittees about volunteerism? But
Eventually, yeah.
yeah, that's
You have
kind
to
of the
let-
structure is the volunteers become subcommittee members,
Yes.
kind of like in promotions, feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Business owners that way.
As we grow, and especially once we're seeing accreditation be correct, those directions will take. We're just probably they're 18 months off from that big meeting.
Yeah.
Currently have.
That.
And of course, it's probably obvious, but the idea of there being 3 at each committee would be to avoid quorum being present. So any thoughts, questions? No? I think that's good. Everybody's good with that?
Can you go? It's just.
I don't think we're finalizing this today.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just for conversation because we have.
Until we get the new person.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. That looks good to y'all.
Okay. All right.
Last thing for me on Main Street, and I'm going to ask Carly to speak on this a little bit, but we need to plan and implement an event or project. I mean, among the ideas that we've been presented are community history event or a historical project, possibly involving downtown business owners to collaborate on this for 2026 implementation. Carly, I know you have some thoughts.
So when I first started, which I know it's not that long ago, but it also seems long ago at the same time, like, one of the big Main Street focuses is on historical preservation and heritage of your city and of your Main Street. It's a requirement that we do stuff with that a lot, actually. In May, it's Historical Preservation Month. And we've got to have some sort of event, ideally something along those lines. So that is something we're going to need to start working on conceptualizing to hopefully bring it to fruition by then. Because that is a big thing on Main Street. It's on my first 3 to 6 months of working here checklist. It's on my everything. So part of Main Street is capitalizing on historical heritage preservation. And May is the month for that. So they typically look for.
There's already a committee that's down at Bridge that does that. Would tag along with them, or is that something that could be done? Like you go still on the event
What?
to history.
Oh, the Pickens Historical Society.
We'll probably definitely work with them, getting input from other community groups that do similar things. It's just we have to be kind of forefront on, put our
I think to be
energy into.
there's some of those that goddamn that we'll stop the jail and I mean
So you're going to find it a little bit challenging. Bill Cagle did, he's their president.
Right.
He did write a letter of support for us when we did our Main Street
he's a good
application. So he understood the implications. But, I think it's great from Bill and Bill.
Well,
Yeah.
if Connie's seen my room, I've got
Yes. Yeah, Jack, don't worry. I have to look at it.
rooms, which I've got a bunch of things. I've got 24 people today, and it's I'm talking about from 1905 to the present date, and I'm talking about Campbell last week. So we've got a bunch of pictures already and values of where it is, and we were talking about doing some other things. But just to let y'all know, if you will come by the book, I've got a bunch of very, very historical pictures, like 75.
put a box.
Yeah, Brandon has mentioned that to me also. We'll definitely be working because.
We can talk about this.
Oh, yeah. All the history, all the things. So that just to put that on y'all's radar now.
Yeah.
It's a requirement. So just start thinking about it. Any ideas? We are welcome to all ideas. So yeah, so there'll be an entirely new thing.
Can it be anything, or is there like a specific set of parameters you have to follow?
Not really.
I mean, is it like an educational thing?
There's no specific parameters in the paperwork I currently have. I'll double check with Elizabeth Friday, but it is not laid out. It just says must do historical preservation event. That's really kind of it. So I'll ask Elizabeth if there's anything I should be aware of, but yeah, it is not very specific. Just that we need to be worked on.
So the people that wrote letters were, just so you all know, Angela Reinhardt for backup, Bill Cagle for the Arts Council, Amberly for the Chamber, and Denise wrote from the hospital. With all of them wrote letters of support for
Okay.
application.
Good to know. Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay. Good to know.
Okay. Yep. So just be thinking on that. And that is all I have for Main Street, unless anyone else has something else to discuss. Okay, we'll move on to item 3. Downtown Live, Carly?
Okay. So we're gonna start with the third. Okay. So by July 2nd, and I'll send out an email. But by July 2nd, same thing as last time. Let me know what kind of time it's looking like you could be there, what jobs. 12:30 to 3, 3 to 5:30, 5:30 to 8, 8 to 10:30. I'll of course be there handling the equipment, moving the equipment, blocking the road, set up, break down all the signs. I'll take care of all that myself. I'm going to hang out with Ryan this time at the top of the hill for Jackson.
You
But
just
someone- I did. He's gonna. I didn't. He just did such a.
You don't have to worry about it.
He just did such a good job. I was hoping we were just gonna slide past that. But someone besides Pam needs to be at the bottom of the hill. That's the worst job.
I didn't mind it. Really? I did.
Oh, I did not
My
enjoy
wife
it.
was there.
I know, it was great.
I did not enjoy it in May when I did it, so I didn't want to make you do it.
I was
twice.
kind of late there. I was not told.
Anyway, so okay, well, Pam, if you want to do it again, that's fine. Like I say, someone other than Pam needs to do it because I did not find it enjoyable. But if you'd like to do it again, do it.
As long as I have an accurate list of who's paid or not, because I prefer to
Yeah.
tell people who don't pay.
Yeah, I don't know. I will definitely work on that. We have a budget meeting, like a DDA specific budget meeting kind of thing. And I'll work on Lindsay and I have chatted a bit about the paperwork. It's all just, I'll try to get a cleaner list. Because like I said, I'm just working on what I've got, which I found out is not entirely.
How about a Google spreadsheet? Would you like to?
You're so funny. So yeah, I'll send out an email, but just be, if you've got any other things you got to do that day, or if you care, or if you want to be at the bottom of the hill again, because, whatever. Yeah, I did right with Brian, so I was still pretty close over that.
Yeah, look, yeah.
I'm totally
Brian,
gonna have one of those hats with the feathers. That's home.
okay, so
Switch times with your bicycle.
positive stuff. I have received numerous compliments that aesthetically the event looked better and that Main Street looked better. That the trucks and the tents pushed back into the spots, which was Pam's idea. Good job, Pam. People really liked that with the traffic being center, and the center being clear other than the people, obviously. I thought it looked better. So people were big fan of that. Yeah. Also, we've received very, very many compliments from City Hall staff, specifically Public Works, Josh, my bosses, and some council members on how happy they were with how the last downtown line went. To quote from three of them, it was the best one we've ever had. And Josh said it was the best setup he's ever seen. So thank you to you guys for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, Josh, like I said, my bosses, other staff, and the council members. And they all said that they also really enjoyed seeing you all there. Like, it looked like y'all were having a good time. It looked like y'all were defined. It was very organized. They're very happy. And Josh is happy, I'm happy. So I appreciate all you guys for that. They're probably been super thrilled about that. Next thing, you're going to need some of your lovely papers I've given you. So you all have one that looks like this.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah,
Tracer
Yes.
down, you've been introduced to Tracer.
I have been told about it.
Okay, that's all.
I am aware that it exists, yes.
That's enough.
Okay, so you all have this one. It looks like this. And then you have one that looks like this. And then you have this very old one from 1984 that I've highlighted at the top. So what the one from 84 is the original CBD boundary from when the Jasper DDA was created. The one that I've outlined in Sharpie, this is what it is today. This is what it looks like right now. And then this one is just a zoomed out shot basically of that, so you can see the surrounding areas. Because what I'm about to say is that it is recommended through Main Street that every once in a while we take a look at the boundaries, see if we think there needs to be any modifications. We will not be voting on any modifications to CBD tonight, but next month we would like to. So if you guys want to take a look at it, see if you want to make any additions into our Main Street boundary, which is essentially what this is. So you think and all that.
Do you want us to talk about it now?
You can, yeah, absolutely. We're talking about if you want to discuss it now, but
Just one little quick thing, y'all. I think I'm guessing, if I'm reading this map right, would be the Woodbridge Inn and Tavern isn't
exactly.
within the CBD, but they are included within open container, as
They
far
are.
as I'm
You're
aware.
correct. They are not currently within our Main
So
Street
we might
boundary.
want to visit that. What that's all.
Yeah, I think you'll find some other things that make sense too. You start looking at it, so. But that's a good point.
yeah, if you got any questions, just let me or Karen or Brandon know. But yeah, just that's the original, what it looks like today. And this is just spread out where you can see anything you might want to add to it.
That's probably, ideally, we'd like to vote on that next month.
Yeah.
How would it take to increase and not decrease? Is it a vote from the DDA to, or was that the city council fetch up, or how's that work?
I believe just you guys have to vote, Brandon.
We would probably take a conservative approach of having you all recommend to council to make this, and then presumably they would heed that recommendation and just codify it through their own resolution.
It's not like it would change zoning or anything. It would just,
No, just what's in the, basically what businesses we will be working with for Main Street. Who's going to come to those vision meetings? Who's putting on our social media? Like who is
So this is our Main Street map, not necessarily anything else.
Yeah, just the Main Street map. It's not our DDA map. It's just the Main Street map. It's not changing their zoning. Don't worry. So yeah, that would be ideal to do in a month. So at a quick meeting. So just be looking at that, think about that. You got any questions, or no?
So do we need to, if we may have some change recommendations, get those to you about then? If there's going to be a vote made on it, I'm assuming there is to be time to file any recommendation with saying,
Yes, let me check by me. If you could get it to me by
The Friday before our meeting.
When is our next meeting?
so which is July 18th.
Okay.
So if you could get it to me by July 18th, so I can take it to my meeting with Karis on the 21st before we meet on the 28th. That would be
Quick.
Yeah, our next meeting is the 28th. But I meet with Paris the 21st, so if y'all could get it to me by the morning of the 18th, that would be very appreciated.
Otherwise, awesome.
So yeah, that gives you almost a month to mull that over.
really, that's something we can discuss by email, is that right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll make the decisions correct.
Yeah, just everybody's thoughts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So my idea is I'm going to start turning the check requests to Lindsay so that y'all don't have to come up here or coordinate or deal with her. Just want to streamline the process. So if you want to get them all to me, the Friday of the weekend before the event, which I know for this one it falls on July 4th, which is not super convenient. So I put July 3rd by 4. If I can have all of them, I can hand them all over to her at one time. Vendor payments need to be to Lindsay by that same date, by July 3rd. I'll work on that because that's kind of my bad. I didn't know how things have worked in the past or anything got managed to me, so I let vendors use the same this time. That apparently it was not in the past set of rules, but I did not know that. So that's on me, so I'm trying to kind of get that back on track. The reminder, same as always, use DDA meeting emails, first emails, when discussing DDA stuff for City Hall. If you ever want to request financials from Lindsay, she likes 2 weeks notice. I can also request it for you. And we do need to try to avoid receiving a day of vendor payment, which I specifically told vendors they could do. So again, that was on me this time. Didn't know that was a no until like the day before the event. So, my best. So, try to streamline some of that financing stuff so that y'all aren't having to come up here. I can come get them from you. Just let me know. Try to make Lindsay's life a little bit easier, less hectic, making sure I have what we need that Saturday morning because she's not here on Saturday mornings when I get here. So, and then future plans. Kind of like last time, I just kind of discussed like tentatively things that we're working on. Like I said, moving away from the Google stuff. Haven't had time, but we're closer than we were. None of it really needs to stay. Honestly, I found out, Karis now through it, there's nothing really important that needs to be kept, which is a plus. So we just need to create some other system that Kim is okay with us having for tracking things like that from now on. We're working on the social media stuff.
So Dale, tell Jasper, is that you?
Yeah, that's me now.
Awesome.
I absorbed that from Pam, which I'm thankful Sherry had following, and I was going to have to create one of those anyway for Main Street, so it actually worked out really well. So that's now city page, and yeah.
So I'm gonna post on it, but I'm still on there. And I'm still on there.
Yeah, it says that you too recently turned it over to me for me to take you off. As soon as Facebook gets rid of that, whatever deadline that is, we'll take you off.
Okay.
Yeah, it just said that I was too new to remove you, so whenever it decides I wouldn't
Maybe I
remove
can remove myself.
you could try that.
But you have access to, I don't want to remove myself if you don't have access to the Instagram.
So the Instagram is not me in yet, so don't do that.
So I'm not going to do anything.
Yes.
If you're there.
Kim and I could not get me into the Instagram. Mary, I meant to ask you about that.
Yeah, I never got access.
Okay.
So you gotta give me access and I'll figure it out.
You figure okay, cool. We'll get Mary in there to do it because Kim and I could not figure it out. Neither one of us could.
So I
Kim usually.
can only tolerate Facebook and swap this right now, so
Yeah, same.
it's been a fun.
I don't even look at my personal one. I just look at
So yeah, next.
And most of the work has been done on the Main Street brand, but we'll discuss that at the meeting on July 16th. But we're not going to implement that until we decide if we're going to modify the CBD voucher, which Brandon brought up is a good point, because if we add people in, we don't want them to come in and be like, well, I don't like how that looks. So if they know they're part of our Main Street boundary, they have an opportunity to come when we're showing the design and say, have input if they don't like it, they want us to change it. That way they know what it's going to look like, blah, 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 kind of things. That makes sense. Brandon pointed that out, like that might be a good idea, is to not launch the logo, what was going to look like if we're going to have somebody in that didn't have input originally. That way everyone's just aware. So we're hoping that I'm hoping by September, that's all done. That's my goal. So, and I think that's realistic. So I don't be a problem necessarily, but we'll see. We're working on the website. We're going to redo the vendor application forms. Things to think about, like with holiday season, just think about, Kim and I discussed like small business Saturdays, Saturday after Thanksgiving. And I know Josh's guy's goal is to have Christmas decorations all up before Thanksgiving. So small business Saturday, maybe doing some sort of event like they've done in the past to maybe kick off like Christmas season. Don't want to start thinking about that. Last thing, the Georgia Downtown Association conference is in August in Gainesville. Parrish and I are going from August 25th, 26th, and 27th. You do not have to go. If you want to go, Parrish and I are going. So,
It's in Gainesville. It's close. I'm not going to stay.
yeah, I'm driving back.
Just go back and forth. But just to give you an idea, on the 25th, I signed up for the DDA advanced training. On the 26th,
What days was?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Understanding and leveraging tax allocation districts, and then the 27th, demystifying business improvement districts. So there's good stuff, I think, that could be good, but we just wanted to throw it out there to y'all to say, if you want to sign up, please do so. We have not received any notification that this is funded by the DDA. I just paid for it, and we'll worry about it later. But if that's a problem, then just that in your forethought or your thoughts. So before you sign up, but it's time to sign up, and I think that window closes like end of this month or something. Can you send us a link? Tell me a bit.
Yeah, Parrish and I both.
Something to do.
Kim registered Jasper as a Georgia Downtown Association city. And the three users on that account are Brandon, myself, and Parrish. So we all get the communications. So, and then I became a GDA member before I even got this job because I decided I wanted to start their certified downtown professional program. So we can all forge anything. And Renee is super responsive, super nice. I met her last week too. She's really nice.
So what time do you start?
8:30 to 4.
They're all a little different.
Generally.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Depending
yeah.
on what you sign up for, you can just go to one. You don't have to go to all three. I mean,
Yeah, technically it runs through Thursday, but on Thursday there's nothing constructive. It's like a fun day, so I will be coming to work. I will not be going Thursday because there's no reason to. But I think I'm doing I'm taking one of my CDP classes and I think 4 other ones. So, yes. Okay, so these next two, I'm going to say them and you're going to call them the vote after I explain them.
yeah.
So I can't. Okay. So, vendor discussion. I think 2 of the sponsors have asked if they can bring vehicles instead of tents to Downtown Live. We were going to vote on that being allowed or not, but then one of them already went ahead and brought it on Saturday, on the 14th, which was fine. But if they're gonna, be driving them in, they were 2 hours late, so we would need them to be on time. So we had to reopen some stuff to get them in and whatever.
Not ideal.
Yeah, it was not ideal. It ended up working out. We had a spot for them conveniently, and Chuck and Dan, maybe, or Chastain helped me get them in. Yes, so that was great. So yeah, the thing would be if they're gonna come, well, they need to arrive on time, and they need to kind of be in the food truck section. So kind of where Carriage House starts to Clock Tower, not in that front. We don't really want them up there.
Even if they're a gold sponsor, though.
Oh,
And it says on the,
yeah, I forget about that every time.
I know.
Say to. Yeah, I will continue to forget about that probably. So, well, I guess then, yeah. It's just Brendan had mentioned maybe having them commit to staying the whole time, because having them drive in and out around all that stuff is a no. Okay.
No, that
They
doesn't.
might have only get
Okay, awesome. I'm glad you're all the person.
No.
So yeah, we need to vote on if we want to allow that. It's even cool, we kind of just did. If we want to allow that from now on, and do they need to, what parameters do you want? And then,
One of our big sponsors is Jeff will probably bring something for the next 2 because they're starting the next 2 events. Only music. So I was thinking if we're bringing their plan.
yeah.
So they're presented then to help.
So what parameters would staff recommend?
I agree with not moving dollars to get there. You tell them when they're supposed to, but they need to be.
I don't know what I'm going to allow this big jet.
Well, here's what I would say.
Opinion about that.
Here's what I would say. I would say, the motion would come in the form of allowing vehicles to be brought instead of tents for sponsors, and that they need to arrive and depart by the same rules that the other vendors and sponsors abide by.
I agree.
Yeah, same parameters the food truck make, because you guys shouldn't.
Maybe consider a special category, because I don't want everybody bringing vehicles instead of tents. Am I thinking about it too much?
Not that you're overthinking.
Yeah, because there's only,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Did Shopper bring that, just a vehicle last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, we let them in at I just read I remember this. We let them in at 5:03 is when they come.
No, I was still down there at 4.
Okay.
Because I went down there to see if they were.
Yeah, I guess they called it 2:30, said they were about to be there, but then they didn't show up till 5:30. And so they radioed me and Chastain tried to move some stuff, let them in, they parked, which was fine. Just that they do need to come with the other vendors. And then he left on the correct route. So he left a little early, but he left on the correct route. So I mean, it wasn't that bad. So nothing went wrong. It's just I think if we're that's a new thing. So maybe set some caps.
Well, here's a little bit more. As we were placing on the vendors and the food trucks and such, we started running out of space very quickly. And then Carly, they all did an amazing job. It took a minute because everybody just was like, okay, find your spot and pick your spot. And then I had to go down through this and the number is the same for space. So I need you to shift this way and you shift this way. We had a couple random onesie-twosie spots, but then when you start bringing in vehicles. So my question is, we were very lucky because probably a third of the people that were supposed to come did not come. So there was no issue. If they all show up the next 2, we've got an issue because there's not room for them.
That's very true.
So my thought is they want to leave the center aisle open for safety. But if we insist and keep everybody pushed back into the parking area, then we can utilize the center aisle, and that actually leaves 2 lanes open. And it would still, aesthetically, it still would go. Everything would still be organized. But we could use that center lane for vendor spaces and just say, hey, you know, like these spaces line up, so this is your spot right here. You know, it's the first come, first serve. Food trucks are a little different. I like that the food trucks get there early.
Yeah, Josh
Because
really liked that.
They have time to like prep their trucks, heat their oils up, whatever they got to do. That was the big thing, the cooking oil, you know. So they need to be in place first, but then the vendors, I don't know, we're going to have to discuss that a little bit.
And now I did notice that the 2 spots, since we created like 3 extra spots this time, and the 2 on the side of LC Taco that were on the other side of the crosswalk close for the stage this time were not used. Since there's 2 vehicles, we could park them there because those are closest to the stage. And then there would be the only 2 on this side of that crosswalk because they're really not going to be in the way. That's an idea.
So I think the organizational and the operational decisions need to be made, not necessarily including those. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think we need to decide on that tonight from a board. The board just needs to decide, is it okay to bring a vehicle and move a tent? And if so, they're going to abide by the same rules, arrival, departure times as the other vendors.
So,
So do we have a motion to that degree?
Some,
We have a motion, we have a second. We have a second from Mr. Callahan. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
can I say one thing? Right in front of my store, there was one vendor who had a problem with oil, and there's still sand in the parking spot.
Yes.
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
And I don't know what happened, but it's a mess. So
Yeah.
we need to Josh have that clean for that for the 2A.
Okay.
So the second item is the adoption of a tiered vendor acceptance system. And as proposed, it would go to businesses within the Jasper CBD, located within the Jasper Central Business District, then to the Jasper city limits, which is the DDA boundary, then to businesses within Pickens County, then businesses outside of Pickens County, and that there will be no duplicate vendors, as much as we can possibly manage that. I mean, you know, I know Pam brought up the point, so if I sell beer and someone else sells beer, does that mean they can't come, even though one's a hot dog vendor and one's selling tacos? No, that's not what, I don't think.
That was a joke.
I know you were, but just as an example,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we're talking about. What we are talking about, we don't want, 2 donut vendors with the exact same things. We don't want, 3 coffee shops. We don't want, and I'm not just, those are random comments,
Right.
but
So I'm just curious for this system of tier vendors, how did it originate?
I think it originated because,
So I know how, I know why, but how?
how?
Who's put input in on this? I like the idea.
Oh, no, this is just me and Carly talking
Okay.
in our meeting. And again, those were in the notes that we sent out. So
Okay.
it's just for conversation. If someone disagrees with that, we can go back to the drawing board. But I think we've always sort of approached it this way. We've just never had a formal board vote on it to, I guess, protect the individual interests
Yeah.
of, especially those of us that run businesses in town. It's really low. So we need something established that we can look back on and say, this is our procedure for vendor approval.
It came from me asking, with me absorbing the Squarespace submissions, I'm getting the vendor applications. So it really came from me asking, how do I know who I'm telling yes or no to? And what have we done in the past?
So this is not a tier pay
No.
schedule. Okay.
It's just, it allows us to be able to select them. Yeah.
Approval process.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I didn't know who to approve and who not to approve, because I also was getting these.
just going to get more specific when they apply, what to say.
That's why we're going to redo the vendor application. Kim and I talked about that. We're going to overhaul that, redo that. Yeah.
Does that look like you might be trap person? Hey, so here, you got to put on there what you're going to say.
Yeah, we don't have to have an itemized list of everything you're bringing, but yeah, give us a general idea of what you're bringing. Yeah, we need. It's definitely not specific enough, and they're not required fields, so they're allowed to turn in a complete form, which is a problem right now. So we're gonna kind of redo the whole thing. Now that I'm getting them, I'm very detail oriented, so I need them all filled out correctly.
So we just need a motion to adopt that tiered vendor acceptance policy. Again, as follows: businesses within the Jasper Central Business District, then the Jasper city limits, then the businesses within Pickens County, then businesses outside of Pickens County, and no duplicate vendors.
Would we have like, just like a date set, like, you know, if we don't have enough within this boundary, then we open it up? Like, would we need dates for each event? You know, that seems like something that we would need.
I think that's an internal thing that we can decide outside of the ocean.
Then I'll make a motion to.
No, kind of barbecue on list and the one barbecue vendor. We
Exactly.
go to that top tier. Correct.
Exactly.
That's right.
Correct.
Language.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's because it allows us to do that in my southern. We have a motion.
I have a motion.
So we have that motion. So we have a second. We have a second. Any further discussion? I'll just say this. I told Pam this, but I had a vendor come to my office today to ask about that. He had applied for the first concert and he's out of the county and he was not accepted. And he wanted to know if we could change that decision. I said, well, you have to apply for all the individual concerts because, like you just said, if today or if this concert isn't full and we have to go outside the county, if you don't apply for it, then you're not going to get in. Otherwise, you might. So that's just one example of that.
I think too, would be wise to maybe meet with Belinda this Friday to ask her how the city of Canton handles that. Because I've got a lot of people say, oh, Canton does this, or Canton does this. Say, okay, well, yes, my vote is with adopt this strategy, but I would like to know how some of the other cities handle it.
We can modify it.
Yeah.
We can modify it.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
But yeah, so I have a list of if things Kim wants me to ask her or something.
any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so much.
You guys?
Carly, anything else?
July.
Sweet.
So, we skipped Brandon's,
I know. I'll go back to that.
but no, other than that, no, I think we'll be all right then.
Okay. So item number 4, we took care of under Main Street, so that's done. The only thing I'll add is on the 10th, July 10th, Carly and I think Brandon and I, Kim,
Lindsay.
and Letty are going to meet to talk about the DDA finances and budget, which we don't really have a budget. So, that's something we're going to talk more about, try to get that squared away so that we will be in a better position to plan for next year. And if anybody wants to join that meeting, it's here. Okay. It's going to be here at 10 a.m. Just let me know if you want to be a part of that so we don't, have too many folks there.
Yeah, don't have to know for the one.
And that's it. So back to item number 1. Brandon, downtown lighting, any other topics that you have for the board?
Just an update. I'm going to get with Jack because he and I had talked about this a couple of months ago. Staff, me, whomever, drafted some easement language because if you remember that when the lights, the silhouette lighting, the lighting on the buildings were installed in 2019, the language that was used in terms of getting the permission, so to speak, was written such that someone, property owner who signed, was signing a document giving Universal Concepts the ability to go and install the light. Well, obviously that raised red flags when we started looking at, well, legally, a new business owner could say, well, number 1, I didn't sign that. Number 2, you're not Universal. So legally, the best way to do it is to attach an easement, which a paragraph that staff turned into 4 pages by legal. So quite honestly, from a layperson's perspective, they may see this and get overwhelmed and say absolutely not. So I'm not trying to not make this seamless, but there's the legal part of me that there's really nothing that DDA has that could then say, well, we need to go up and fix these lights. We all want the lights repaired. Everybody all wants it done, but I don't look at the DDA, the city of Beverly position of, that liability. So I was going to, because the reason I brought Jack up is because I think he has volunteered to champion this effort of going back to the individual business owners and or property owners to say, hey, you may or may not have signed this. You may be new, you may not. You see this lighting, it used to be beautiful for years. There needs to be maintenance on it. I'm with the DDA. The DDA wants to champion this. Would you sign this easement? This is actually written by the city attorney, and it's, believe it or not, a little more skewed favorably towards the building owner. So that's fine, because most of the time jurisdictions don't hold harmless or indemnify, but it's written as such that if you agree to sign this, that you have no liability whatsoever with these lights on your building, which is a good practice, but it's not something that I would necessarily written. So I was just going to see how we could pare this down a little bit, then insert some numerical addresses, have Mr. Dunn go through if he still wants to champion it. I don't know if he doesn't. But basically just going through and say, look, most of you all, whether you realize it or not, signed something, wanted these beautiful lights. We just want to make it a little more legal, and then it opens up the opportunity to maintain in some capacity. Because right now it's not really pleasant.
Yeah.
So that's it. I wish it was as easy as saying, oh, it's a paragraph that I wrote, it's valid, it's good, it's from a layperson, but I do see some potential hiccups and someone's going to just immediately dismiss it because it's gobbledygook. But when you read it, it is more protective for the building than otherwise what they have met.
So, good. Thank you. Anything else?
Y'all done a phenomenal job.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. So I just want to echo that. I really appreciate y'all. I thank you for your hard work Saturday. Sorry I couldn't be there. But apparently, since it's the best one yet, I probably should come to the rest of them. I'm just throwing it out there.
No.
You don't have to vote on that.
No, that's all right.
But it could be.
We missed you, man.
It could be related. I'm just saying.
I'll buy you a drink.
But no, I really do appreciate y'all. I think we're headed in a really good direction right now. And Carly's doing so much. I can't even begin to explain how much she's doing. A phenomenal job. And these are things, I think the place that we're at right now wouldn't be possible without her. I would say that 100%. So I really appreciate y'all. Thank you for what you do. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Something.
Give a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? We are adjourned. 6:33.